There are many cold email tutorials on YouTube. But what I'm going to show in this video is the most effective process that I know, having sent thousands of emails a day for the past 2 or 3 years or so. And if you've ever wondered why some cold emails set up meetings like clockwork, whilst others vanish into the abyss, well, you're not alone. Every day, professionals spend an average of 2.5 hours checking their inboxes, sifting through a potential mix of opportunities and obviously, let's face it, spam. But the truth is, email remains a powerhouse for customer acquisition and retention, especially for small, medium-sized businesses. There's loads of opportunity for B2B salespeople and small business owners to be crushing it, booking meetings with cold email. There's a fine line, right? There's a fine line between a strategic cold email that opens doors and a spammy cold email that ends up getting ignored. The distinction: personalization, relevance, and offering undeniable value. In this video, we're going to dive into a step-by-step framework that explains the common pitfalls of generic outreach, and it's going to position your emails not to just get opened, but to compel action from the buyer. So get ready to transform your cold email approach from a shot in the dark to a strategic meeting generation machine. All right, so let's talk about the game opener in cold email outreach. That is grabbing your buyer's attention without coming across as a jester in the court of sales. We want to hit that sweet spot where your buyer's eyebrows go up in intrigue, but not in disbelief. It's about striking the right balance between being eye-catching and maintaining the gravitas of a trusted advisor. Otherwise, the prospect's never going to buy from you. So first up, your secret weapon to get the buyer's attention is the subject line and the first line of your email. Research from Marketo says that the magic number of words in a subject line is around 7 words, right? Yes, that's right, just 7, not 49 like I see with a lot of cold emails that hit my inbox each day. So with just 7 words, how do we make those words count? Well, what we want to do is open what's called a curiosity loop that leaves your buyer hanging on the edge of their seat wanting more. You can think of a curiosity loop as the trailer to a blockbuster movie. It's the thing that gets the person into the cinema, the bum on the seat, and the cash in the cinema's hand. And there's a couple of good ways to build curiosity within your subject line by using how-to subject lines or what-if subject lines. A how-to subject line might be how to double revenue in the next 90 days. A what-if subject line might be what if selling was simple? You want to hit the prospect's big pain points, you want to call out that pain point in the subject line, and then we want to get the first line of the email to tie back into the subject line. So this is where we build the curiosity loop and it loops around. The best first lines always have a touch of self-interest. We need to tune in to everyone's favorite radio station, WIIFM, which is what is in it for me. And how you take this to the next level is you add a layer of personalization to that first line as well. And personalization isn't just slapping the prospect's name at the top of your email. If you're selling to product managers, you want to comment on their latest product feature. If it's a middle manager, you want to talk about their latest hiring spree. You want to show that you've done a little bit of research, not 20 hours worth of research, just a little bit of research to show this person that you've sent this email specifically to them. You want to show that you actually give a shit, that you genuinely care. All of this stuff sounds a little bit wishy-washy, but over cold outreach, it's absolutely important and it will book you more meetings if you actually care about the outcomes that your prospects are going to have from working with you. And this becomes even more powerful when you mix this strategy with the power move that we're going to cover in step 4 of this step-by-step framework. But before that, let's cover step 2. So you've caught the prospect's eye without resorting to the digital equivalent of streaking through the internet, yelling about rubber duckies, wearing Wellingtons upside down on your hands. You could do that via your cold outreach, you'd get attention, but no one will buy from you. So we've professionally got the attention of our prospects with the subject line and the first line of the email. Now it's time to show that you're not just another pretty subject line, that you're here to solve real problems for the buyer. And this is where you need to demonstrate the prospect's need. Think of it like this. You're not just telling the prospect that you understand their struggles, you're going to show them. And how do you do that? You do that through the art of storytelling. The goal here is to paint a picture in as few words as possible that is so vivid that the buyer can't help but see themselves within it. And we're going to use what I call the reality gap method. If you want to learn more about the reality gap method, you can grab our free book, Selling Made Simple, from salesman.com. It's completely free, and we cover all of this, including this email framework, in more detail as well. So the reality gap method, it's like mapping out a treasure hunt where X marks the spot of the buyer's future success and you know where they are, and you've got the map to get them there. So, and again, very succinctly, in as few words as possible, we're going to map out the buyer's current reality, where they are, the pain they're in, what they're struggling to achieve, their sales targets are down, they're drowning in inefficient processes, whatever it is. We're going to outline the current reality. Then we're going to outline the future reality. We're going to dazzle them with visions of what could be. We want the buyer to imagine hitting those targets, streamlining operations, making a ton of profit, whatever it is, wherever they want to be, we want to outline it for them. Then we have the reality bridge. This is the golden bridge that connects their current reality with their future reality. It's where you're going to hint, but not explain how it works. You're going to hint at the tools, the strategy, or the wisdom that's going to help them get from one place to the other. The reason why we don't tell them how all of this works is that closes the curiosity loop altogether. We want a little bit of the curiosity loop to be open, because then they have to book a call with us to learn how this works. So as a quick example, you might say, hey, the person's name, I just helped one of their competitors or someone in their space turn their sales slump into a victory lap. They were exactly where you are right now with a specific issue. With a few tweaks and some solid frameworks, they're now smashing their goals left and right. Do you want to know how we did it? So there we go. No gimmicks, no fluff, just a straight line from the current reality to the future reality. So that's step 2 of the cold outreach framework, leveraging the reality gap method. So let's move on to step 3. So now we've piqued the buyer's interest and we've shown them a vision of what could be. But here's the kicker. Why the heck should they believe anything that you've got to say? It's like when you tell a friend about an amazing restaurant. You went there, the food was awesome, the steak was incredible, the wine was awesome as well. And your mate turns around to you and says, yeah, great. Was it really that good? When you get a response like that, that's where you need to bring in the big guns, which is social proof. So imagine you're trying to convince your mate to try the steakhouse that you've been to that you thought was awesome. If you turn around and say, hey, Michael Jordan was in there the other day, suddenly they're going to be all ears, because that is social proof in a nutshell. It's not you and I, us mere mortals saying that this is great. It's friggin' Michael Jordan is sat there having a steak, having the time of his life. And obviously this is a bit of an extreme example, right? But in the world of cold emails, social proof is your Michael Jordan effect. It's going to show the people that you're outreaching to that they should trust you, because other people have seen incredible results from working with you. Now, your social proof of your cold outreach could be anything from a shout out from a well-known brand, a killer testimonial, some shiny awards that the organization that you work for has racked up over the years. And there's a few ways that you can sprinkle some of that magic into your emails. First up, you can name drop. So mention the time that you've boosted sales for the buyer's competitors or someone else in the space or someone that they know. So you might say, after we worked with the brand that they recognize, their sales went through the roof. Or you could try using a statistic. You could say 75% of companies in our industry are using our solution. Numbers talk, especially if you are the industry standard tool, software, developers, service, contract holder, whatever it is. If you're the industry standard, you should absolutely lean into that with your cold outreach. Or finally, you could use the happy client strategy. You could say, did you know, and then a company that they recognize or have worked with in the past, slash their onboarding time in half with our help. Because who wouldn't want a piece of that, right? And remember, this is so important. Very few salespeople do this. Even fewer B2B small business owners do this. And this is absolutely integral to your cold outreach success. Collect all of these golden nuggets of social proof. This should be as routine as brushing your teeth. Anytime someone says anything nice to you, copy and paste it, screenshot it, record the video, whatever it is, whatever you got to do to capture that moment and put it in a folder on your computer that you can check regularly that you've always got access to. Make it a part of your process to ask for testimonials whenever you knock a project out the park, or whenever someone says, hey, I've enjoyed working with you, ask for the testimonial over and over and over again. And that leads us on to step 4, the call to action. So we've got the prospect's attention, we've shown them the dream, we've shown them that bigger, brighter future reality that we can help them get over to, and we've proved that we're not just talking the talk, that we can actually deliver on this as well. Now, what's the next step? Well, we need them to take some action, and this is where your CTA or call to action comes in. There are 3 types of call to actions that you're going to use at different stages of your sales cadence. If you're unfamiliar with sales cadences, we've covered it in multiple videos on this channel, so do a search on YouTube and you'll find a load of content on there. So the 3 call to actions. First up, we have what's called a straight CTA. This is your let's go and grab a coffee, no more faffing around. You're direct and you're literally going to say, hey, does it make sense to jump on a quick call? See if we can sort this out for you. No fluff, straight shooting, book the meeting, go for it. Because if you've got a solution to the buyer's headache and they agree that you have the solution to their headache and you've built enough trust that they believe that you can solve the headache, then why would you faff around with a weaker call to action? So this comes at the top of your sales cadence. This is what you want in the first 2, 3, 4 emails. Book the meeting, book the meeting, book the meeting. So let's say you've not booked the meeting on those emails. There can only be a few variables here. It's not the right person, it's the wrong message, or the wrong timing. And all of these variables are affected by the level of trust that you have with the prospect. If you've not booked the meeting there, it's time to use now what's called a 2-step call to action, which is a little bit easier for the buyer to take action upon. Essentially, you try to slide into the buyer's DMs before you ask them out on a date. You might warm them up with, okay, so here's the problem, here's the solution, here's how we can help. Mind if I send over a few more details? Or how about I shoot a quick video to explain how this works? And the goal here is to spark a conversation. We want the buyer to say yes, then we deliver what we promised, and at that point we say, okay, hopefully that now makes sense. Would it make sense to jump on a quick call to move things forward? So, just to be clear, don't fall into the trap of sending a weaker call to action, getting a yes, starting that ping-pong conversation, and then forgetting to book the meeting. The 2-step call to action is get a response, book the meeting. Get a response, book the meeting, over and over and over again. So the 2-step call to action comes in the middle of the sales cadence. Now, if we've not heard anything at that point, we're going to use the 3rd call to action, which is the breakup CTA. And if the prospect's been ghosting your emails, your LinkedIn messages, social media messages, your calls, then it's time to hit them with a light, positive message like, okay, well, seems like this might not be the right time for us. Is it cool if I check back later on? And this is your way of saying, no hard feelings. I've screwed up here. You've got to take responsibility as the seller. My message wasn't right, it didn't go to the right person, or the timing wasn't appropriate for the message that I've sent. The goal is to elicit a response from the buyer who goes, oh crap, I want to get back to you, Will, but I've not had time. You'll book a bunch of meetings on the back of your breakup call to actions. But what you're trying to do here is not blow it. You want to be able to add them to another cadence 6 months from now. You want them to be receptive to be jumping into another cadence in the not too distant future. Because again, I keep repeating this, and people in our training program over at Salesman.com Academy, a week into the training are sick of hearing me say this. But right message, right person, right time. You can control who you send the message to, the person. You can control the message that you send. Timing's a little bit more difficult. You don't always have control over the timing element. And so we want to send a breakup call to action so that we can add them again to additional cadences in the not too distant future so that we can hopefully, again, be in the right timing when they are ready to take action. So let's pull all this together, and I'm going to show you an email that I send from will@salesman.com when I am prospecting VPs of sales to get their teams enrolled in Salesman.com Academy. The email is pretty simple. It's hi, then the VP of sales name. I was chatting with someone else that they know in the space, someone that I've worked with in the past, and he said I should contact you. I was sharing that we help, so specific industry to personalize the email. Salespeople close more deals in the next 28 days, guaranteed. That's a bold statement, right? We've helped then the specific company, so this is typically a referral process, right? We've helped that company increase their sales by whatever the percentage was in the past few months. Would it make sense to jump a quick call to see if I can do the same for you? And this email gets between a 22 and 26% meeting booking rate. So for around every 4 people that I send that message to, I book a meeting with a qualified VP of sales at a medium to large organization on the back of it. Now, to be fair and to be clear, I've got a big audience, I've got loads of content out there, the books are out there. A lot of the people I email know who I am, or at the very minimum, they will click through to my LinkedIn profile and they'll see that I'm not completely full of crap. And so people are happy to book calls with me. You might not have all the leverage of 10 years of content creation and sales training and customer success tutorials on your side. You should absolutely be creating all that behind the scenes, but that's for another video, right? And 9 times out of 10, this comes from a referral from one person that we've helped to someone else in the industry that they think we can help. But just imagine that. Every 4 people that you email, you book a meeting. I send a handful of emails each and every week to fill my calendar, and that is my prospecting. Cold outreach, when done right, can be absolutely as simple as that. It's all about strategy and then delivering value. If you nail that, you are absolutely golden. And if you enjoyed this video, why not click the video that's on the screen right now and continue making selling simple.